Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl. How y'all doing today? Well, today is Friday, May the 3rd of 2024. And I went to work today and I was in an alright mood. Um, Knowing that I was going to have to just work today and then I don't have to be back to work till 1 o'clock on Saturday. And then I was going to, looking forward to Sunday off. But the new schedule came out this week, or for next week. And I have to work Sunday, 12 to 8. Then I'm off Monday. Then I work Tuesday, my 8 to 4. And then I'm off Wednesday, Thursday. And then work my Friday and Saturday. I'm supposed to have a weekend day off every week. Because when I first started working this job back last August, I basically was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays. Those were the days I was working. And then I was off Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I've worked every weekend. So when my boss asked me to go to day shift, I told him the only way I go to day shift is if he gave me Sundays off. And if I worked 9 to 4:30, 9 to 5 every day. That'll work. Well, he already screwed that up because first week schedule came out 8 a.m. I only go in at 9 o'clock on Mondays usually. 9 to 4 on Mondays. Tuesdays is usually 8 to 4. Off Wednesday, Thursdays. And then Fridays is 8 to 4. And Saturdays is 1 to 8. So, because of the fact that the longer I sit and think about it, because of the fact that my paycheck was $318. I just got through paying rent yesterday. $650. I had $26, but I spent $3 today at the store. I've got $23 left to last me until next Thursday. Still haven't got my oil change yet. I got about half a tank of gas. Refrigerator. I could use a few things in the fridge, but, it's not like I'm starving or anything, but at the same time, it's like I don't really have all the foods that I'd like to have at this particular given moment in time. But I need to find another job because I can't. I even sat here and told one of my other friends that I talked to on the regular. I told her, I'm actually thinking about going and just, after my lease is up, between now and the end of November, because my lease is going to be up, actually, the end of October. So, between now and Halloween, I'm probably going to have to make some important decisions. One of those thoughts is basically getting a small storage unit, packing up everything I can pack up that I don't need, or try to sell as some of my stuff. Pack up what I don't need, put it in a small storage unit, and keep what little bit I do need, which ain't of nothing of value, and live in a tent. Pretty much. If I did that, well, I'd have $650 extra a month in my pocket, plus my utility, plus my electric, whatever that is. So far, my electric, I don't think it's ever been over $60 or $70 here since I've lived here. So I'd have an extra, $700 to a little over $700 in my pocket after everything would be said and done. Me paying my car insurance and me paying my cell phone bill. I would still have at least $700. More like probably about $800 or $900 in my pocket. When it comes down to it. Yeah, about $900 is what I'd have a month to live on and survive on if I lived in a tent. But if I want to continue to live indoors in one of these spaces, I'm not going to have no money at all to live on. So what's a person to do? What is a person to do? I mean, everybody's like, well, you could get a roommate. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I could try to find somebody that already has a house and an extra room that they'd be willing to rent out or something like that, and then me just pay them a portion, of the utilities and a portion for rent or whatever. But there I've got to deal with living with other people and their habits and their whatevers, and then not having a kitchen all to myself or having a refrigerator all to myself. So, there's always positive and negative to any type of situation, I suppose. Honestly, I don't really like living with people, because people are not exactly the cleanest. And I'm not a clean freak, but at the same time, I like to live in a clean space. And some people that I've met and have lived with before in my past, no. That's why I don't like roommates. In fact, it's been very little that I had a roommate in my life, when I was younger, in my 20s, I had a roommate. Or if I was with somebody, that's when I would be living with somebody else. But in between those, most of the time I've always lived by myself. I've always been on my own 100%. I was telling this to my friend the other day too, is in all my relationships, like with my first husband, basically when we were just living together, he didn't want me to pay anything. But as soon as we got married, it was okay, you're going to pay half the house payment, half the utilities, half this, half that. Now, when I first got with Kelsey's dad, it was immediately understood that we were going to basically be roommates and lovers. That we were just going to split the bills. And we lived in a little one-bedroom apartment that was like $365 a month, all bills paid. And this was in Dallas, Texas, back in 1995. So not too bad. But now that same apartment, I think, is renting for about $1,500 a month in Dallas. And you probably have to pay utilities as well. And the neighborhood isn't as safe as it once was. All those years ago, 30 years ago, was that? Oh my God, almost 30 years ago. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm just kind of over life. I'm not over life because I'm blessed in so many ways. I have beautiful grandchildren, a beautiful daughter, a relationship with my daughter and grandchildren that I've always dreamed of having, I have a decent car. I have a nice apartment. But like I said, I have nothing left. after I pay for everything, you know? I don't even have anything left for food. I don't know. It's just very frustrating. Frustrating. I make $12.50 an hour and I get 30 hours a week. And I bring home approximately $320 a week. There's this place called Brahms. They're like an ice cream and dairy store, and they sell meat and vegetables and milk and pastries and bakery type stuff, and they have hamburgers and chicken sandwiches and yada yada yada. They pay $14 an hour to start. And I definitely know that they would probably give me 40 hours a week if that's what I asked for. And I would work probably Monday through Friday. Because when I worked for Brahms before, years ago, 96 into 97, pretty much they'd hire all the adults, and all the adults would work the day shift during the day, early as 5:30 in the morning, probably coming in as late as 10 in the morning, and working until, 2 in the afternoon to like 6 at night, Monday through Friday. And then the people that would work like 3 to close or 4 to close, those are the teenagers that work in the evening times. Teenagers and young adults work in the evening times and on weekends. So I definitely could get a Monday through Friday kind of gig, and I could probably pretty much see what kind of hours they need. But I just don't really want to work in the food industry anymore, I don't want to work in the food industry. I don't want to have ice cream up to my elbows every day, I don't know. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm at this point in my life where I just don't know what to do. I try to rack my brain and thinking of anything and every type of job I could try to get with my skills that I have that would pay me enough money to actually live on. And one that's not so physical, where I'm on my feet 8 hours out of the day, I always try to tell myself that I'm abundant, that I'm blessed. It's hard to believe it, though, sometimes when all you have is $23 to your name to live on for a week. Is that abundant? No, it's not. What is it that I need to do or can I do to improve my situation? If anybody has any suggestions, I'd be glad to hear them. Am I willing to relocate? It would depend. But honestly, no. I don't really want to relocate. Why? Because I'm with my daughter and my grandchildren. And those people are my life. My daughter is my life. My grandchildren are my life. My mother just turned 91 on Wednesday, May 1st. She's still kicking. She's still pretty healthy. Unless something just happens and out of the blue, I suspect she'll still be with us for a few more years. So I have her, even though I don't get along with my mother. Straight up honest, I do not get along with the woman. I always feel like I'm always having to put up a shield when I'm around her. I feel like I have to pretend that everything's okay. when it's not. She's not the type of woman that I can just come out and talk to and tell her all these things that I'm thinking or that's on my mind or that I would like to talk to her about sometimes and see if we can't just get things out in the open and work things out. But she doesn't give me that ability to do that. She shuts it down. She's not one of these types of people that likes to communicate. She's not one of these types of people that likes to get deep involved in emotional types of conversations or communication. Because if I did get along with my mother, I probably would ask her if I could move back in with her. Even if it was just to save money, you know, until I could afford to get my own place again. But this time, I would at least save up, you know what I'm saying? And made sure I had several $1000s saved up to afford once I moved out of my own place again, you know, into my own place. But yeah. But I can't do that. I can't live with my mother. I can't. Well, for one, the number one reason why I can't live with my mother is because of this right here. Weed. Because I like to smoke weed. She would be done in her house. As far as the nicotine issue, well, I'm almost in the process of not having that habit anymore anyway. So that wouldn't really be an issue in her house. Wasn't like when I was smoking cigarettes and stuff, you know. There was just no way she'd allow cigarette smoking in her house. And there's no way she'd allow consumption of marijuana either in her house. My daughter and son-in-law, they live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment right now with 3 kids. But I think my son-in-law's, let's put it this way, my son-in-law's parents, his mom and stepdad, are getting ready to move back into his childhood home here in town. And the house that they're renting currently out in the country, just a few miles from Purcell, it's going to be available. And it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's out in the country. It's a nice house. It's got some playground equipment and above ground swimming pool and I think a trampoline out there for all the grands. And there's a possibility that they might be moving out there during the summer. Now, if there was ever a possibility where we could find a nice 4-bedroom home, 4-bedroom, 2-bath home that was reasonable in rent, and I'd be able to pay like a third of it out of it. And Hunter and Kelsey understood that I wasn't going to be a living babysitter, but I'm basically just more of a roommate, but I will be there for them if they need me, but don't always depend on me to be there to watch the kids, you know? That's the only other drawback that I would have with living with, like, any family members. Is if I was to live with my daughter and son-in-law in a decent-sized house, I'm not going to be a living babysitter. And with my mother, I couldn't live with my mother at all. I already know I couldn't. I'd rather go live down by the river in a tent than to live with my mother.